Mr. McKay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I want to thank colleagues for their participation, even when we disagree. I hope we are still civil with each other. I think we are still civil with each other. And I want to particularly commend Ms. McPherson for the ideas that she's put forward. In other circumstances, I certainly would be very supportive of many of those ideas. And I rather hope that that we can see the government move forward with legislation such as has been described. And I hope by this time colleagues, particular colleagues who voted against this bill, understand the rationale that I put forward. I just want to end with a story I mentioned to my colleagues on the Liberal side earlier today. Those of you who know me know that I'm a big fan of William Wilberforce. William Wilberforce is probably the greatest legislator in the British Westminster system ever. And he is the principal person responsible for the abolition of slavery in the British Empire. Slavery was the basis for the wealth of the British Empire for years. And he tried to get slavery abolished literally for years, and well over 20 years. And he tried many times directly. And the way in which that came about was that he got the slave trade abolished, therefore devaluing the entire wealth on which slaves were built, and which the British Empire was built. And because he succeeded in abolishing the slave trade, slavery itself was ultimately abolished in the British Empire. In some respects, a little bit, very tiny bit, is what we're doing today. Today is tactics to move towards the larger goal of expunging slavery from the supply chain of our nation. It is a scourge on our nation that we use the products of slaves. It is a scourge on each one of us that we use the products of slaves. And I'm rather hoping that in the course of this Parliament, that this committee in particular, but colleagues generally, will see to it that we move further forward so that our wealth is not based upon the work and product of slaves. So I realize, Mr. Speaker, that I'm not, Mr. Chair, that I'm not overly prone to giving philosophical and political rationales for what we're doing here today, because sometimes we forget. But sometimes you have to do indirectly what you can't get done directly. So today we did somewhat indirectly what we would ultimately get to directly. So thank you for that moment.